All right, welcome back to Sports Talk here on Talk 104.93 WKCT. This is the After Party presented by Greenwood Ford. Cole Scott, News 40 Sports, joined alongside Brian Davis of the Franklin Favorite. And joining us for the After Party tonight is John Allen, the Metcalfe County Athletic Director. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Great to have you in.
Yeah. Before we talk sports, let's just talk about Edmonton and what's going on in Metcalfe County in general. How's the flooding and all that stuff, and how's everybody dealing with that and all the stuff that's going on in place right there?
Yeah, it's been pretty devastating. Of course, unfortunately, it happens occasionally. School was hit some. Baseball field was hit pretty hard. We're going to have to redo some things there. Bus garage got hit, of course, and there were some businesses, some houses. It's just terrible. I mean, and it happened so quick, and it got up quick, and then it kind of went down quick, but then the damage had already been done. So it's terrible. I mean, and it's not the only place it happened. I went to Cumberland County. They had a lot of flooding over there, a lot in Clinton County, and I've got family and friends in all those places. So we weren't the only ones hit, but it sure is bad, and you hate for it to happen, but it's just one of those things.
Well, switching gears, a little bit more positive note now. What has gone on? Take us through the last year. We just did a year in review. What the last year for Metcalfe County sports? What grade would you give it, and what are some of the high points of it?
Some of the high points, we probably going back a year, we opened a brand new football stadium. We have as nice facility as anybody around now. Turf field, nice bleachers. Very proud of it. A lot of teams coming in, a lot of people, a lot of fans, very complimentary of it. That's probably been one of the high points starting out. A lot of work went into that. New baseball field. It's an old baseball field, but it was redone. We hosted the district this year, hosted districts in baseball and softball. We redid our softball field. Very proud of our facilities and things. Proud of our teams that competed this year. Maybe didn't have all the results that we wanted. Some of our teams deal with some adversity. Our girls basketball team especially. You had some of them up here, I think.
Yeah.
Interviewed them not too long after some of the adversity. But, we've got a lot of good kids at our schools. They work really hard. We don't have as many athletes as other schools, so a lot of our kids play multiple sports. And, we're proud of that and proud of the things that they do. But, looking forward to the next year. We've got some new coaches coming in, and we're pretty excited about coming up with our next year of sports.
Boy, I tell you what, when you talk about excitement and the off-the-season buzz, boy, Edmonton and Metcalfe County, you all created it, that's for sure. Just talk about the basketball side of it, because that's where everybody's talking about, from Coach Combs coming on and the Coach Brad, the girls' side too as well, and so forth like that. I mean, the buzz and excitement's got to be at a sky-high level in Edmonton right now.
And, it's one thing as an athletic director, you really don't ever want to hire new coaches. But unfortunately, that's part of the job sometime. And, when those two situations come about, you always want to go out and try to find the best people you can. And I feel like the two people we hired will do really good. When I talk to other people, just like you, when I saw you at Western a few weeks ago, you were really complimentary of our hires and really spoke highly of them. So that makes you feel good as an athletic director that people, approve of what you've done, and hopefully things will go good with them. A lot of excitement. They had both of them finished up their summer seasons, and we're very pleased with how they went. And it's when you got a new coach, there's a lot of learning and a lot, all coaches do things different. So but from the parents I talked to, they were very pleased with the coaches and the things they did. So a lot of excitement going into next year.
We talked about you got a new turf football field. Also, on the basketball side, did you guys not have a renaming for Coach Mack?
There was flooding actually that day. The day we were going to, it wasn't this past season, it was the season before. We were supposed to play Greenwood.
Gotcha.
And actually there was flooding that day. We had to move it a day. But yeah, we did name the floor after Coach Mack.
Okay.
They kind of did a temporary sticker kind of on it. And then last year it was painted permanent on there. And, something that's, I guess, is needed to be done for a while with the success he had. And, I'm originally from Cumberland County. And so when I ended up in Metcalfe County and had been there for just a little bit. And of course, I was helping Coach Mack. He was the head coach, and he wanted me to help him. And I was talking to him one day, and I told him, I said, it's really neat, something I've learned since I've come to Metcalfe County. If there's somebody that was on the state tournament team. That's how they're known. They introduce him, this is, for example, there's a guy named Tim Wisdom that was on the state tournament team. They said, this is Tim Wisdom. He was on the state tournament team. So that, he will always be known as somebody on that state tournament team. But I told Mac, I said, the thing I don't understand is, I said, I've met 50 people that were on that state tournament team. And I said, I don't know how he was able to get all of them playing time. But he said, I don't think everybody told you that we're on the state tournament team. But there was, I do know all the people that were on the state tournament team, and great people. And it was, we celebrated the 25th or the 30th anniversary. And so, or 40th anniversary, 40 years,
Wow.
85. So, it's crazy. And, it's crazy that it's been that long since a team from Metcalfe County, but in the boys' side, it's been that long since a team from our district has went to the state tournament.
Wow.
So that's why it's such a big deal, and that's why they're still celebrating.
Wow. You mentioned for Cumberland County. We'll bring it up at the end of the show because I heard something and wanted you to verify, but we'll talk about that at the end, though. So, with being such a small school, do you help the coaches manage, because you have a lot of athletes that play two sports? Do you help them try to manage that and work that and help them out with that and so forth, try to scheduling, and so forth?
We are very fortunate. One thing we are fortunate with is we have 4 gyms.
Okay.
There's a lot of schools that don't have that. So one of them is a primary gym, which isn't quite as big as the other 3, but we have 3 regulation length basketball courts. So that really helps with basketball practice, and it really helps with giving opportunities too. But our coaches work really well together. They communicate well together. We don't usually have any trouble with them, athletes being where they need to be and scheduling and things. We're doing some construction at the school now, and the high school gym is going to be off limits for a little bit. But, luckily we have another air-conditioned gym that we can go to. And, I can remember times and places where it wasn't like that.
Right.
We're also lucky where we have 2 baseball fields. So our middle school and high school don't have to compete for baseball field. They have we have 2 football fields. Middle school and high school can have 2 fields, so that's another thing we're very fortunate to have too.
I want to go back to talking about coaches. The girls' basketball team obviously brought in Matt Turner, but Heidi Coleman, talk about the contributions from her to this program over the past few years, what she meant to Metcalfe County in that time.
So, one of the hardest things to do is to come back and coach where you're from. Heidi was able to do it. How it came to pass, she was able to be there at a time when we had a lot of talent, and she was able to be there. And it adds a little different turn to it, I guess, when you have a local coach that's from there. The community really gets behind them. But she done a good job. She took us to the finals of the region. Won 5 district. She won 4 of them. But we won a number of district championships in a row and had a lot of success, and it was very thankful for the things she did while she was there. An opportunity come around where she was able to do something, and so it seemed like a good time for her to take that opportunity and to get a long ways away from Edmonton. So it's and hopefully she's doing well with that.
Now at fall sports, like we just talked about, starts up on July 20th with golf. You're going to be busy with golf, football, volleyball. All the fall sports kicking in gear. How do you? I guess you got an assistant, I'm sure, right?
I do. Yep.
So y'all take turns and help out and so forth like that, and work together.
The way we've done it, and I don't know exactly how it's going to work, because actually my assistant athletic director just took the middle school principal's job today.
Oh.
Was named as the new middle school principal. So not sure how that will work, but typically they do a lot of the middle school stuff, and then we kind of share some of the high school stuff.
Okay.
But it's you said golf. We've got middle school softball starting. We've got middle school basketball. We'll be starting up pretty soon. Golf, football. We don't have soccer.
Right.
So that's one thing we don't have. But all the other stuff will be starting up, and it's it never really ends. From an athletic director, Matt Shirley, who I know did this before me, and was a great mentor to me and still is. He says you're athletic director 24/7.
Yeah.
And with cell phones and things, it's changed because if you think of a question you have, you don't think, well, I'll call them tomorrow. No, you text them right then. You said, you know, somebody wants to ask me a question, they just send me a text, and it's, you know, and that's fine. That's, you know, that's part of it. But it, you know, it is a 24/7 job, and you know, that's part of it. And it's I enjoy Metcalfe County athletics, and hopefully hopefully I'll do a good job where they am able to answer their questions and do the things that they need me to do.
Yeah.
We had a couple athletic directors in a couple weeks ago. How do you attack dead period? What do you do during this time?
So usually I try to step away a little bit, you know, because, you know, with my wife and my kids and stuff, you know, they need to, you know, I need to try to be with them some and just to disconnect from some of it. And I do that some, but, you know, we usually have a coaches meeting during the dead period, you know, talk about the upcoming year and go over things of that nature. But, you know, this is my third one, I guess. So it's each one of them has been different from the things I did. The first 2 years we had our coaches meeting at the end of it. This year we had it at the beginning of it. So, and I think that worked out pretty good because it always seemed like we had people that were not able to get back because, you know, they go on vacation, which, you know, I want to respect that too and let them be with their families as well. So it varies. You know, I was at school today. We were looking at some things with some of our cameras at the football field, looking at the high school gym where they're doing some construction on the air. And so it just varies.
So you're Josie's dad. So obviously, how hard is it for you to be, you know, stay cool like an athletic director and stuff like that, and don't be like, you know, rambunctious dad and so forth like that when you're watching her play and so forth like that? So
actually, probably me doing this job has made that better. And
okay,
when my son played Jax, I was assistant coach, and so, you know, there's only so much you can do as assistant coach, so that kind of kept me reined in. And from the year, but when Josie was playing, it was, you know, I wasn't coaching, I was up in the stands, and I don't know, and it's different with a girl too. You know, you're a little more protective. You know, you think your son could take care of himself,
right?
So I actually, when I started this job, it, you know, made me a lot more calmer about things, especially dealing with the referees, because, you know, I'm like, man, you know, I'm the one that they're paying them, so I can't be out there giving them grief and stuff. So it's it is different. And I mean, man, when your kids are playing, it's you know, you get involved in it, consumed with it. But, you know, there is nothing in the world I enjoy more than watching my kids play sports. We're very lucky with our Hornet News Network where they have video, you know, of our games, and they're on YouTube. And I went back and watched my son's district championship game. I can't tell you how many times. If I'm ever have trouble sleeping, you know, I pull up YouTube I watch his, you know, him playing that district championship, because he was unconscious that game too. And, you know, he scored like 15 points in the first quarter. I mean, it was unbelievable. So, and, you know, I pulled up Josie's games where her playing in the district champ. You know, a lot of those games where she played hurt, because, you know, I knew the backstory with what she was going through, and to see her, what she was able to do, you know, it makes you proud as a dad, and to see those kids. And, you know, my mom was the same way. My son, he used to talk about when he would go stay with her, he would talk about watching me play ball, and I would go, what do you mean? And I go, you know, when I see my mom, she said, well, we was watching, you know, I had a video of you playing such and such. And so, you know, my mom, she enjoyed watching me play just as much as I watch my kids play. So it's pretty neat, and it's hard to believe Josie's a senior. It's kind of flew by. Luckily, both of them took the COVID year, so I did get an extra year out of them. So, but it's, you know, as an AD, it's kind of kept me a little more grounded and a little bit calmer, I guess.
Awesome. Can I follow with this, Cole?
Yeah, absolutely.
How did Josie recover from an injury? Take us behind the scenes a little bit, because it had to be tough.
It was, which it was funny when we went to. When she got hurt, actually, I don't know if I've ever told you the story when she got hurt and everything, but she got hurt. Of course, she never came out of the game. She got fouled. We were playing at Glasgow, got fouled, shot free throw, never finished the game. And the next morning, she said, "Daddy, I can't straighten my leg." So I take her to the doctor, and he's like, "Well, I don't think it's her ACL, but we'll do an MRI." And ended up, it was. And I mean, we'd already scheduled surgery, and I was talking to our chiropractor who we saw first. She said, "Did you ask if she could play with a brace?" And I said, well, "I didn't even think about it." So I called the doctor back. He said, "Yeah, we can try it." And I mean, she could barely walk, and when we went down there, she put that brace on. She said it feels better. Come back,
Wow.
she practiced that afternoon. I mean, she missed one game. I mean, and of course she tweaked it a little bit a couple of times and had to come out of the game, but it was icing. I mean, she was hurting, a lot of pain, but she. It was a special group of girls, and Josie knew if she wasn't out there, it wouldn't have been the same team without her out there. And it was really nothing about her. She was willing to make the sacrifice for the team, and that's why she was able to. That's why she tried to do it. So we get beat by Franklin Simpson on Saturday, and one of the funny things, we went to the first time we saw the doctor that did her surgery was the day of district championship. And he was talking about Dr. Elrod in Nashville. I don't know if y'all ever heard of him. He used to be the Titans team doctor.
Oh, okay.
You go in there and you've got professional baseball players' jerseys. Thank you, Dr. Elrod. And so, I mean, he's supposed to be one of the best, or he is one of the best. And he was talking about when he's going to do the surgery, and I said, well, she's still playing. And he was like, he said, if I do the surgery now, it'd be like 1st and 3. But he said the more she plays, it's going to be like 2nd and 7, 3rd and 9. So, we were a little tore up from then on, but, it ended up turning out okay. But we got beat on Saturday night. Franklin Simpson, she had surgery on Tuesday. And we came to Bowling Green for therapy. Okay. Jake Thomas I don't know if you guys know him, but he's awesome. And so we were down here 2 days a week, and, she got cleared October 13th. Practice starts October 15th. And I think, of course, she had to wear a brace all year, and I think it slowed her down a little bit. And, of course, our team dynamic was a little different. It was a little, learn the stuff. But, she averaged 16 and 10. I thought she had a good year. About a week after our last game, she goes for her final checkup, and they told her she don't have to wear the brace anymore. And so it had been a year and a half since she'd played any basketball without a brace on. So she was like, she was playing a AAU and had her first tournament. She said, I'm going to wear my brace. And I said, well, you just wear it till you feel comfortable. Yeah. And she wore it that tournament, and we had a practice a week or so later, and she said, I'm going to try it without it. And she hasn't worn the time since. And I think it's more she looks more like her old self now as far as speed and stuff. I mean, I think the brace slowed her down a little bit, but she's back to being her old self.
Good deal.
For you, as a former basketball standout yourself, what is that relationship like between you and her on the sports side? Is it a tough love? How much do you push her? What is that relationship like?
Well, it's been different with her and my son. Jax, I always say Josie was gifted with a little more athletic ability than Jax was, but Jax was gifted with the work ethic. He was one that was always in the backyard shooting and stuff. So I was probably harder on him, and I actually have not worked with Josie as much as I worked with Jax. Might be why she turned out. She's been so good because I didn't work with her as much. But she does all right. When she was younger, she was a little harder to work with. She had a little less patience and a little less focus, but she's done a lot better. But I know one time when Jax was playing, he was a sophomore, and he had a good game, decent game, and the next day a guy was talking to me, and he said, it must be really neat, you played basketball, and now, your kids are playing basketball. And I said, well, it is, but I said, for somebody that when they played was really good, it puts a lot of pressure on their kids because, a lot of people just automatically assume, if dad was really good, then the kids are going to be really good. Yeah. And it's not always like that. Now, a lot of times it is, and a lot of times the kids are a lot better than their dads were. But it puts a lot of pressure, especially in the small town, small community where we come from, where a lot of people remember back when I used to play. But, they both handled it very well, both handled it. But it's funny with Josie because a lot of the things she's done have mirrored a lot of things that I did. When I was in college, I hurt my knee my senior year. It was too late to redshirt, and they told me I needed surgery, and I'd either be out 2 weeks or I would be out the rest of the season. And I was able to play on it. I couldn't straighten it. They would actually put tape straight to the skin where I couldn't straighten my leg. So I was like, well, I'm going to play. So I played my senior year the last probably 10 games. Wow. Kind of the same way Josie did. So it's kind of crazy the way she's kind of mirrored the way that I had to go through things.
Man. Well, since you done brought it up, I got to bring up the story because I heard about this last week through a message. You shattered a backboard in high school.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. So take us by, how did you shatter a backboard? Because I mean that's one of the rare things you don't ever see in basketball these days.
I would love to say that I jumped up over somebody in a game, but it actually was at the middle school and it was in practice, and we were shooting layups, and I just went up and did a dunk, and it was actually I did a reverse, and when I pulled the rim, I kind of it felt funny, and man, the rim just kept coming. It didn't no resistance, and it must have been faulty, because I've done that a lot of times. That I've never shattered a backboard, so it must have been faulty equipment. But there was a buddy of mine that was underneath the goal that ended up getting scratched up. But there's pieces of that backboard that are floating around. A lot of kids wanted pieces of the backboard, and of course my mom had some of them too. And I got a few pieces at home, and then I hurt my knee the next game right after that. Because, ended up having to have surgery because my dad said, chicken one day, feathers the next. So I said, yeah, that's about right. So.
Wow. That's something else. Any fun stories from EKU?
Oh, yeah.
That you can share?
Oh, man. Let me see. Of course, I was on I was playing in the 92-93 season.
Okay.
When we almost beat Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
DeMarcus Dawes from Franklin, he had a really good game. He was on that team. And if I remember correct, it was like their first game of the season, which would have been the first game after the Christian Leitner to beat them the season before.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been the next game of next year. We were up 2 points. We were leading with 2 minutes to go. Ended up getting beat 10, but that was actually probably one of the worst games I played my whole junior year. My junior year was my best year in college, but I had some foul issues that game and didn't play. I think it was like 14 minutes left in the game when I fouled out. So, but we had some young kids, and we had a kid from Louisville Eastern. His name was Eric May. They put him in the middle of the press, and everything was clicking. Brad Devine from Muhlenberg County was on that team. Yeah, and they were all freshmen. But they all played really well, and we had a chance, but kind of fell up short. The next day, one of my teachers at Eastern, she said she was so excited. She you don't even have to worry about coming to class today. So it was my sister was living in Texas, and ESPN cut to the game for a little bit, and she was able to watch. So it was kind of neat. I was very lucky to be able to go to Eastern. Of course, I wanted to go to Western. That was my dream. They were going through a coaching change at the time, and Willard took over.
92,
yeah. So, I talked to Willard some, and it just didn't work out. And Eastern had offered me a scholarship, so I went there, and I was very lucky the way it worked out there. We had a kid, junior college transfer, that was going to start. He got homesick at Thanksgiving and went home, and that kind of moved me up, not as a starter, but moved me up into the rotation, and I was able to start by the end of the year, and very, very fortunate the way things came about. And basketball is it's been the gateway for everything for me. It's it got me into college. My wife, I met her playing in a basketball league.
Okay.
That's how I ended up in Metcalfe County.
Okay.
So the first time I ever flew, I flew to Las Vegas to play in a high school thing where I roomed with Travis Ford.
Okay.
So basketball has been the thing that has opened doors for me, and I've been very lucky that it's blessed me, and I guess that's why it's always been so special to me, and been thankful that my kids played and have had the success that they've had.
Well, I know Cole and I, we don't get up to the 16th that often during Friday nights for district games. Yeah. What's the atmosphere like on a district night when you're playing against Cumberland or Monroe or any of the 16th district teams at Metcalfe County? I heard it's pretty wild.
It is. It really is. And we've got the kind of the core, I call them, Cumberland, Clinton, Monroe, and Metcalfe, because they were rivals for years. And then Russell went in there, of course, and they just ended up as a rival with everybody as well. But it's great people at all the schools. But when you throw that ball up, it's very competitive. Friday nights. It's good crowds. We have a lot of people. Even though we stream our games, we still have really good crowds at our games, and they're very competitive. It doesn't. A lot of times you can just throw the records out the window. because when you go to Clinton County, that's a tough place to play. When you go over to Russell County, that's a tough place to play. So it's all the places are when you're on the road. They all have their own special things. So it's very competitive, and of course, in the same way, I guess, in all the districts. But I'm a little more partial to that one because I've more experience with those rivalries.
Well, before we let you go, we got to talk about the anticipation that's building up around the girls' basketball team. There's some moving pieces that may or may not be in place, but your daughter's senior year, the opportunity that's there to compete within a very, very good fourth region, again, after years of doing it already. What are you looking forward to most about this year surrounding that girls' basketball team?
Well, not only is our region going to be competitive, but our district is going to be very competitive.
Yeah.
I think Monroe County is going to be as good as anybody. A lot of the other teams lost some players, but the thing with our region in girls was so crazy. It was because all of the good players would seem like they were juniors last year.
They were,
yeah.
And so all of them are back. There were some good seniors, and especially some seniors that played key roles. I think about Cumberland County with those seniors they had in that group of girls that played together for so long. Some of those girls didn't get the recognition as some of the other players, but they had played together so long and had so many connections. But a lot of teams, even though there's a lot of teams that had really good juniors, there's a lot of teams that lost a lot of players. We lost 3 seniors.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, I think our region teams are going to be more competitive this year across the board. I just, as a dad, what I hope for is just a healthy season for Josie and a healthy season for Metcalfe and all kids. There's the worst thing in the world is to see a kid get hurt and have to miss games. I was talking about Dr. Elrod. We went down there for one of Josie's checkups, and he said he had scheduled 7 ACL surgeries that day.
My goodness, man!
And we had 3 in 2 years, and we'd probably went 15 years, and I don't know if we'd had any. And then 3 in 2 years. It's just in one calendar year, 2 seasons, but 1 calendar year. So it's healthy for all players. And just you just want to see him compete, and just want to see him have fun, and just hopefully Josie just has a really good senior year and has a lot of fun and has some success. It's it makes you feel selfish sometimes because she was able to be part of such success, but last year getting beat the first game of the district and seeing on the other end of some of those games, it makes you miss those good times. And I always tell I drove the bus for the girls too, and I mean, of course, when we win the district, if we won the Class A, police escort into town, fire trucks and everything, and people at the square hooping and hollering, and I'd always look at Heidi and I said, don't ever take this for granted. I said, because you never know when this is going to be the last time you do it for a long time. Our boys went over 20 years between district championships, and I was actually assistant coach on both of those teams. So it's I know what it's like to go through that drought. So it's really good when you're winning, but it's something you never want to take it for granted, and always make sure you enjoy it. And it's a special time when it happens.
Well, if I could ask you, because with the girls and now the boys as well too, I mean, all A state championship, I mean, that has to be a major goal for you guys too as well, and that's also a definite possibility that you all can get to Owensboro and can win 4 games in 4 or 5 days and bring home all A state championship like Cumberland County did with softball.
Yeah, it's that was a really special run they had with softball, and it would be cool, but I think I know semifinals. We host this year our region,
okay,
but we play Monroe County first game. So
wow,
semifinals,
and they bring everybody back at 1.
We've got to buy, so we play Monroe if they win their first game. So,
right.
So it'll be tough, but hopefully things go good, and that Owensboro. I'm partial to Richmond when they had it there, and always enjoyed. One of the neatest things was when I got to see Jax play on their floor when he's a sophomore in high school. And I never probably won't get to see Josie do that, but Owensboro does a really good job. It was really the year we went 2 years ago, I really enjoyed it up there. I like the sports center, and Owensboro's a good town, and it's about the same distance from Metcalfe County to go either way. So. That would be pretty cool if we could make it back again and go up there and maybe get to play and get a chance.
All right. Brian, you got anything else?
No, man, just can't believe it. I mean, that Edmonton's been a talk in the off season. I mean, that's a first. I mean,
I'm excited. I'm excited for Metcalfe.
Well, I mean, we got football. We got to go through the fall sports first before we get to basketball and all that. So
Yeah.
I guess we got to endure that first. Before
See
we
some
get
more
to
success
basketball.
there.
Yeah. So wow, and you got LJ for football
yeah.
too as well. And
Yep.
I'm sure LJ.
You need to get LJ down here on the show.
Oh, we will. We'll get him down.
Absolutely,
Trust
yeah.
me.
Yeah. He's a great interview.
He'll
He's
fire
fun.
you up too as well. He will definitely do that. But I'm sure with the buzz and excitement with from the basketball side makes all the other coaches fired up for their sport too as well. Does it not?
Oh yeah, and our volleyball program, we're really excited for them. They're starting up. They've got a bunch of seniors.
Yep.
Had a really good year last year. They made it to the Class A state, so a lot of excitement around that. Our football program, we're excited about them. We've got a new golf coach.
Okay.
Logan Phelps is our new golf coach, so
All right.
he's going to be kind of rebuilding. We lost some seniors, but we're excited for them to get started. And, it'll start Friday, and once it starts Friday, once the 10th comes around, it's pedal to the metal
Absolutely.
until school gets out.
Now we had the softball team on. What was back in April? Was it not?
Yes.
And they offered us pork shoulder sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I mean, is that football games and basketball games too? Pork shoulder sandwiches too as well?
The
or
girls'
just-
basketball team grills pork shoulder at the football games.
Okay. All right.
We always got to take care of the referees. We always take care of the referees at the games. I learned when I started doing this, you got to feed the referees and take care of them. So, they get their shoulder sandwich. Softball and baseball. Our baseball team started doing shoulder too.
Okay.
So it's that's kind of a regional food too. You don't have to get too far from Edmonton where people have never had pork shoulder.
Yeah.
I'll always if they're doing a concession stand or somebody, especially get somebody from around Louisville or somewhere. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes they've got bones in them. And people, they get a sandwich. People think a sandwich you just put in your mouth and eat it. And I always tell them, I said, now, that might have a bone in it. You might check it before you bite into it.
Yeah.
Because, that could be bad. But, we have the best shoulder around.
All right. So I guess football Friday nights. I mean,
I'll be there eating some pork.
pork shoulder sandwich
Absolutely.
and film some games. All right.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
All right, well, John, thank you so much for coming by tonight. It was great to have you on. We're very excited for what Metcalfe County has to offer this next year. But that's going to do it for tonight's after party right here on Sports Talk. You're listening on Talk 104.93 WKCT on our Facebook page. Make sure to come back next week. More exciting guests, more sports to talk. Dead period finally going to be over. We'll have all that in just a week. But until then, have a great week, sports fans.
I can't. The coach's name just escaped me.
Matt Turner?
Yeah. There we go. No, softball.
Oh, Dina Hurt.